Welcome to the AACS Daily News. We recently shared the first part of our interview with State Senator Paul Feeney regarding his priorities for the upcoming year. And now here's the second part of our interview.
You know, I'm really excited. We are in the midst of our bill filing season as I tape this interview, and I'm very proud of some of the initiatives that I'm working on with people that I admire and respect. You'll notice a theme on many of my bills. They're about working people. They're about middle class. They're about working class folks that I think sometimes get forgotten about. One of the issues that I'm working on right now, filing a bill hopefully in the coming days, has to do with worker safety on the job on construction sites and making sure that if there are contractors and companies out there that haven't been doing the right thing, that have been putting people in jeopardy, that they actually have to notify, on potential bids that they've had issues. So that would make our job site safer. It would protect workers that are going out, strapping the boots on every single day to go out and do work. Another piece of legislation that I'm working on currently is with the Attorney General. You know, as the chair of Consumer Protection last session, I became acutely aware of so many instances where people throughout Attleboro and throughout the Commonwealth were taken advantage of in many different sectors. But this one in particular that I'm working on now has to deal with used car sales. Has to deal with this huge investment that people make when they go out and they buy a car. We want to make sure that we're protecting consumers. Now, those laws haven't been updated in over 20 years, some of them. So I'm working closely with the Attorney General's office, and we'll hopefully have a bill filed in the coming days for consumer protection around used car sales, and we're very, very proud of that. And then additionally, the work that I continue to do around homelessness, making sure that we're changing the model here in Massachusetts so that we're not just temporary sheltering folks that are chronically homelessness or putting them in hotels, but that we're actually addressing the root of the problem and offering permanent supportive housing, understanding that there's a nexus between homelessness and substance abuse and mental illness, and quite frankly, a lot of different issues that could cause that. So I'm working closely with a couple of my colleagues now in developing legislation and funding around permanent supportive housing, not only in our region, but throughout the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. So those are just a few of the things that I'm going to continue to work on. Again, the restaurants who have been particularly hard hit, I'm working on some legislation now and bills with the industry to make sure that we're breaking down those barriers and those those hoops that people have to jump through sometimes to be able to build back. So we're working on that on the restaurant industry and working with my colleagues around economic development, training, vocational education, which has become increasingly more important. So it's important for us to realize here in Massachusetts, it's not just all about high tech, which is extremely important, and life sciences, again, extremely important. But it's about manufacturing. It's about those working class jobs. It's about call center jobs. Developing a bill right now to protect call center work that some of these companies, I think there's a lot of corporate greed that goes on. They see that they can do these jobs cheaper in the Philippines or in India or, halfway across the world, where we should be investing in those jobs here in Massachusetts. People need that employment. So I'm working on a bill right now that would protect those jobs that currently exist here in Massachusetts and incentivize companies to actually have those centers right here in the Attleboro region, right here in this part of the state. So I'm really proud of those pieces of legislation. We're going to continue to work on all sorts of things going forward that are COVID related and economy related. But this is all happening under this this blanket of trepidation that a lot of people have because of the economic downturn that we felt last year. The good thing is there are indicators that we're exceeding our revenue projections here in the Commonwealth this year. That's a good sign. We want to make sure that we're budgeting conservatively, but at the same time, holding our communities harmless, making sure that in Attleboro, we can keep police officers on the job. We can keep firefighters on the job. We can continue to fix the roads and build our infrastructure. So those are the things we're going to be working on going forward. It's going to be a busy legislative session. Luckily, I have a great relationship with our delegation. So we're going to continue to work on that in the months ahead, and I'm looking forward to it.